Aitäh, Johannes. Ladies and gentlemen, warm greetings to all of you. And I want to start by congratulating Tallinn for being this year's Europe's Green Capital. It is a fantastic achievement. And as you may know, actually the city of Tallinn was the place where the EU Green Capital idea was born back in 2006. And having lived in this city for many years, it's a great honor and pleasure to address you here today. Tallinn's success not only shows that European cities and towns have the drive for the change, but it is also a sign that cities and towns are at the very front line of the just and clean energy transition, and not only during crisis times. With the progress made so far, especially by the European green capitals over the years, I truly believe that we can build a greener and fairer Europe for all. Cities and towns are essential partners for the implementation of the Repower EU plan and for the further acceleration of the rollout of renewable energy. And our collaboration will ultimately help make Europe climate neutral by 2050. Dear friends, 1 year ago, we did what many thought was impossible. You remember, the heating season was looming, energy prices were historically high, and we had no certainty that Russia would not cut us of their gas supplies even further. And it was not an easy winter, but we remained united and strong, and a lot of the thinking was changed. And my thanks goes to you, our towns and cities, because the results speak for themselves. We knew that there was a need to save gas, and so we did. Altogether, the EU 27 member states reduced the gas demand during the previous heating season by 18%. And this equals more than 50 billion cubic meters of gas. And on top of it, we finished the heating season with our gas storages around 56% full. And this achievement this spring was a historic high. EU consumers, citizens and businesses alike were called upon to directly reduce demand, while safeguarding energy for households and essential services. We knew that even if we will face deficit, we have to well provide heat for households and hospitals. But I think that a prime example is the success of the Covenant of Mayors and its Cities Energy Saving Sprint. This was a voluntary saving campaign which was launched by the Commission with the Covenant of Mayors, and it was implemented over by 50 cities. An instrumental toolbox with energy-saving tips on heating and lighting and mobility in the Repower EU context. And together, we have come a long way. In March this year, the EU imports of Russian gas were reduced by 3/4 compared to the March 2021. And now Norway and United States, they have replaced Russia as a main gas supplier to Europe. So long may it continue. And last year was also a record year for renewables in the EU. For the first time ever, we generated more electricity from wind and solar than from gas. And we also invested in renewables like never before, accelerating their deployment in record speed. And this increase has been especially impressive in the solar sector. And it's been local communities and citizens who have been leading the solar energy boost, because 61% of the new solar capacity came from rooftop installations. And even more, early indications suggest that the overall share of renewables in our electricity mix is expected to grow up to 69% already by 2030. And a large share of this renewable energy is produced locally. In this context, we have kicked off a wonderful project this summer called 30 Renewable EU Islands, because we do have small islands who are not connected with the mainland grid, and this is a wonderful example how solar could provide them electricity instead of heavy oil or diesel. we trust that these examples, from big cities to small islands, that they create a positive environment characterized by encouragement, support, and guidance. As you all know, the unjust war Russia has been waging on Ukraine is still ongoing. And I want to praise the brave people of Ukraine who are giving their all to survive and to hold on their freedom. And as Ukraine is battling, the EU must keep standing next to them, helping with all we can. And here in Estonia, we know this well. And we stand by Ukraine. And I am in constant contact personally with my colleague from Ukraine, German Galushenko, who is energy minister, to see how we can help. And we all know that the transformation EU energy sector has gone through over the past year in light of the unjust war has helped us to cut Russian revenues. But there is still much to do. The fact is that since the start of the Russian invasion to Ukraine, EU countries have still spent more than 140 billion euros on buying energy from Russia, and thus providing it with more fiscal space to finance this brutal war. And I have called up on countries and companies to end buying Russian LNG and to find very quickly alternatives elsewhere. These alternatives are available. And it is essential we keep our ambition high, intensify our efforts, and continue also investing in the clean energy transition with a view to increase our global competitiveness. And in this regard, we have agreed to a new binding target of 42.5% of renewable energy in our total energy mix by 2030. And this means adding about 1.5 times more wind and solar capacity by 2030 than we have right now. And you will be happy to hear that significant progress has also been made on the side of energy efficiency, notably with the formal adoption of recast of Energy Efficiency Directive. And this also introduces a new ambitious target alongside a strong governance mechanism and increased annual energy savings obligation. In the context of energy efficiency, buildings take a special position because they represent 40% of the EU's energy consumption. Buildings are key to achieving a decarbonized EU by 2050, and therefore they represent prominently everything that we do. They are covered in all EU energy-related initiatives like the EU Green Deal and the Renovation Wave. And to increase energy security and reduce dependence from imported fossil fuels, we need a fit building sector, as buildings are a strategic asset in the energy system. And our discussions on the Energy Performance of Buildings Directive recast are right now ongoing. And I do believe that important progress has at our reach. And for the Commission, our priority is to conclude the negotiations by the end of this year so that all the measures will be in place timely before 2030. Ladies and gentlemen, I also want to share a few thoughts on the wide range of support programs and platforms we have put in place on the EU level to help achieve our ambitious goals. We have made funds available through Horizon Europe and the respective work program of the Horizon Europe mission on climate neutral and smart cities, the LIFE program, and its clean energy transition sub-program, supporting the development of ambitious clean energy projects at local and regional level. The ELENA facility, implemented in cooperation with the European Investment Bank, has helped to mobilize more than 8.2 billion euros in sustainable energy and transport investments. And the new LIFE Clean Energy Transition sub-program with a total budget of close to €1 billion. And its predecessor programs established over 35 one-stop shops for home renovations, accessible for more than 190 million EU citizens. And they have supported also 750 renewable energy communities. So we have also put in place a covenant of companies for climate and energy, the European Energy Poverty Advisory Hub, and last but not least, the Smart Cities Marketplace, which has so far facilitated the financing of about 130 projects at an overall magnitude of more than 615 million euros. And also EU member states are now working in full speed to reflect the necessary structural changes at the national level and update their national energy and climate plans, enabling clear national pathways towards 2030 objectives. And I'm happy to say that we already have the new national energy and climate plans from the majority of the member states, and we expect others to follow soon. Regions, cities and towns must fully engage in the multi-level energy and climate dialogue and contribute actively to the preparation of those plans. And local involvement is the key for the success of the strategic planning for energy and climate policies, and it will ensure feasibility and swift implementation. Dear friends, compared to last year, Europe is in a much better place today. And this is thanks to the swift action and taken by cities, regions, citizens to end our dependence on Russian imports and to become more self-sufficient in energy, which allowed us to get through this difficult winter without major disruptions. Still, immediate preparation is important, as the next heating season will be the next test of resilience of our energy system. The gas storage regulation, part of our emergency laws adopted last year, played a major role in strengthening our security of supply last winter. And it also has helped us to store this summer gas in our underground gas storages. Currently, our gas storage level is over 90%. And this means that all member states are on track with their interim targets and are well prepared for the winter. We also adopted the targeted reform of the electricity market design, which, among other things, will help us to make energy bills more independent from the short-term market, so that retail consumers will not face this volatility of short-term market price of electricity. Doing all that, we still are in fragile position. So this winter is a testing ground. Honourable Mayor of Tallinn, distinguished guests, I would like to express my gratitude for cities like the capital of Estonia, which are great examples on how the local level helps us achieve our European goals. We can't change our history or geography, but we can indeed change the way we generate and use energy. And I invite all European cities and towns to continue working together. Your experience on energy savings, alleviating energy poverty, behavioral aspects, and the clean and just energy transition are indispensable assets for the years to come. Cities and towns are the centers of gravity for the EU's decarbonization. You will be the difference between success and failure in reaching our climate goals and tackling the present challenge. Thank you.